Maybe I'll call, let's make it in order. I will start with,
Sorry, how's it?
I'll start with Shay. Shay, please.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Oluwaseyi Oluwasomi. My background is also pure and applied mathematics, and I had my second degree in mathematical sciences at AIMS, Tanzania. I'm currently working with the app as a data science. So I'm able to mentor anyone that is going to the field of data science. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Yeah.
Latif?
So my name is Latif Rashid. I also did my undergrad in mathematics, and my master's degree was in computational science. Right now, I work as a software developer in North Carolina with Cognizant Technologies.
Okay, so what areas can you mentor, please?
Okay, yeah, sure. Definitely, I can mentor anything related to, say, C# programming languages and web development or software development.
Okay, thank you very much. Femi?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, yeah, my name is Olufemi Lajaigi. Yeah. So I'm once a student of LabTech. So I graduated in 2015, and I had my first master degree at AIMS, Tanzania, in the field of pure and applied mathematics, and my second master degree at the Lappeenranta University of Technology in Finland, in the field of technomathematics and technical physics. And currently, I'm PhD student at the University of Bergen in Norway. So my area of specialty is PBE and waterways.
Thank you. So what area can you mentor? That's important.
Yeah, I think so I'm very good in using LaTeX, and I have a little background of programming language, most especially MATLAB.
Okay. It can mentor also if you want to go into research also.
Yes, yeah, into research, yeah. That's
thank
also
you.
true. Yeah.
Who else? Sediat? Okay, thank you.
Hi, everyone. I am Saidat Abidemi Sani. I graduated from LAUTECH, Department of Statistics in 2015. And afterwards, I pursued an MBA program here in the US. And currently, I'm a PhD candidate at University of Cincinnati. I focus on developing stat methods to deal with business problems in the areas of operations, information systems, and finance. Well, based on mentoring, I can mentor students who are looking into turning stat into applications and solving problem solving basically in the areas of big data, optimization, and machine learning. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Yomi. Austin.
Yeah, thanks, T.Y. Good evening, everyone. My name is Augustine Okoli. I graduated from LAUTECH in 2014 at the Department of Pure and Applied Mathematics. And thereafter, I moved to, I had my first master's in AIMS, Senegal, 2016. And in 2017, I had my second master's at the Technical University of Munich, also, where I'm currently rounding up my PhD program in applied mathematics too. My specialty is, in a layman's language, I'm just using mathematics and statistical methods to study spread and control of infectious diseases. Particularly, I focus on contact tracing, just to analyze the effectiveness of contact tracing as a control measure in combating infectious epidemics, pandemics. I'm also an AI enthusiast. I'm into machine learning, deep learning, build deep learning models where I deploy them for production on web. And yeah, for mentorship, I'm very good in programming, Python programming. I can also mentor students who are passionate about a career in AI, machine learning generally. And yeah, I think programming languages generally is what I do. And I also can help in research. If you're also thinking about moving into modeling biological systems generally, my real specialty covers that as far as ecology, oceanography, biological systems generally. And you're very good at that. Thanks.
Yeah, thanks, Austin. I saw that Abdul Wasu is raising up his hand. Do you have a question?
So I made a mistake.
Oh, okay. Please, can you remove your hand? Thank you. Okay. So let me see. I hope I'm not missing any other. Oh, yeah. Oluwash, my brother Oluwaseun Adeyemi.
Okay, good evening, everyone. So, like my boss called me, Oluwaseun Adeyemi. Okay, I finished from statistics department 2012. Yeah, 2012. And I had my master's at University of Ibadan. And currently, I work at PwC as assistant manager data and analytics. So, and area of mentoring, I think I can mentor in any area related to data science and application to finance majorly. So that's, I think that's a bit about me.
Okay, thank you very much. Diola.
Good evening, everyone. So my name is Adiola Digoke, and I finished from the Department of Mathematics in 2014. And afterwards, I proceeded to AIMS in 2015, and I have my master's degree in mathematical sciences. And in 2016, I proceeded to the University of Regina in Canada. And there I got my master's degree in statistics as well. So currently, I'm a PhD student at the University of Manitoba in Canada. And I guess I can mentor. I'm sure I can mentor in research and in data analytics. Thank you.
Thank you. You can see that a lot of us can mentor in data science. So you have, if you are in data science, you are very lucky, or machine learning. Okay. Okay. Now let me introduce the lecturer of the day, Yomi. Just for now, briefly.
Okay. Good evening. My name is Yomi Olatunji. I graduated from the Department of Pure and Applied Mathematics, Lautech. I'm a software engineer, a senior software engineer at First Bank Nigeria.
Oh yeah, excuse me, before you continue, I think is Mayowa here?
Oh, not yet.
Okay.
I will introduce him.
Okay, all right, sir.
Yeah.
Okay. So I'm a software engineer at First Bank Nigeria. I can mentor in software development. I have a couple of experience in that. So majorly is to software development, database management, and to developing software. So that's my area specialization, and that's where I can mentor. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Any other person that I haven't called, because I'm trying to look through the names? I think I've called everyone. Okay. Yeah, the last person left that's not able to attend, which will join us in the meeting, is Mayowa. So Mayowa finished from Lautech, Department of Mathematics. I remember he came to the US for his master's, and currently he works at, sorry, I want to check 1 minute, please, just to be sure. Okay, so currently he works at Thermo Fisher Scientific in the US here. So, so for me, my name is Tayo Akinlabi. I finished from Lautech also. I went to Ames. And then from there, I went to Poland, University of Warsaw, where I had a master's degree and also my PhD finished last year. So currently I work as a postdoc at Boston University. So I can mentor in research, I can mentor. Recently I also started to do some work with data science. So I can also mentor with data science. Yeah, that's all. So now we move on to the lecture, but before we go to lecture and we introduce the speaker, I would like to say that if you have questions, please, you don't need to wait to the end of the talk. You can write, there's a chat period, just send all your message to Adiola Adegoke, so once you go to the chat section, you can direct your message to Adiola Adegoke. So just type in your question, any question. So as the speaker keeps talking, you don't need to interrupt, just type in your message. At the end, your question, sorry. At the end of this lecture, there will be some time for us to ask our questions and everything. So I invite Sheyi to introduce the speaker. Sheyi, are you there?
Sorry, that was a mistake, please. Sorry. Yeah, our speaker for tonight's lecture is Yomi Olatunji. Yomi is a senior software engineer with over 7 years industrial experience. He has worked with Ecobank, Unibank, Access Bank, and First Bank. Currently an assistant manager at First Bank Nigeria, where he worked as a senior software engineering. Yomi is the winner of Junior Bank CEO Award of the year 2018 and CFO Award 2019. Friends, I want us to welcome Yomi as he proceeds to tonight's lecture. Thank you. Welcome, Yomi.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Let me.
No, because what about say when I first add for the first time, okay. I was at first it's two things that came to my mouth.
Oh, thank you everyone. Welcome to the first edition of our mentorship class. Thank you very much. Today I'll be talking about transiting from mathematics, from mathematics to tech, entering to tech, moving to tech. So what are you supposed to know? What should you do if you are planning of moving to tech? I know a lot of us, a question that is in the mind of a lot of students, a lot of us, when we were in school, so we had the same question is, what next after this mathematics? What's the future? What does it hold? Yeah, I see that we have a lot of 500 levels. Probably when you're 500 level, you already have an idea, but there's still 200 level, there's 300 level. And even at 500 level, at times you still wondering what is next thing? What's next thing after graduation? Is it only lecturing? Is it what's the option? So we are here now to show you like what are the possible options. So today I'll be talking majorly about tech, moving to tech. So what are the possible options? What are the available career paths for you in tech? This course, I don't know, it's not enough to do the best. You need to know what to do and then do the best. So it's not enough to just say you're doing the best. It's not enough to just because, but you need to even know the paths. You need to know where exactly are you going to do the best. So in mathematics, as a mathematics graduate, and most of us are mathematics related courses. So there are different things you can actually venture into. So today's lecture will be focused in tech, but it's not just tech. So in case you don't see where you fit into, there are actually other things, and in subsequent classes, in subsequent section, we're going to be talking about other speakers going to be taking up to some of the other fields and available on another opportunity. But here, we just have a few overview here. There are people that are going into academics. We know there will be people going into academic, going into research work, research related, contributing more into the research, into the research environment, into what is going on in academics. There is people going to finance, financial mathematics, you're going to, so want to work into, just know more into finance related stuff. So mathematics is also very much related to that. Actuarial mathematics, I don't know, this is more related to statistical, more statistical modeling and some parts. I'm not into that. So public health and epidemiology, sorry. Operational research, and many more. There are many more fields. But for today's class, we're actually going to look into IT, majorly into tech. What are the opportunities that you have in tech? Sorry, I think I need to put my time. Okay, so as a tech person, there is basically almost every in tech job can actually be categorized into one of these 5 categories. You are either analyzing, probably you're analyzing existing systems, you are a business analyst, you are so basically either you're analyzing or you are designing, you are a UI UX, you are into designing system, into designing workflow, into designing processes, different things to design, or you are into development, you are into programming where you write code, you build systems, you build artificial intelligence system and all those things. Either you're managing, so after development, there are actually some people that are into management of this, they're into monitoring and they are monitoring the system and making sure everything is fine. Or you are even into troubleshooting and support, basically. So today we are going to just be taking a look at some of the career opportunities. This is not all, this is not exhaustive. There are so many opportunities in IT. So many, and more opportunity keeps coming up every day. So I can't cover everything in this thing. So we just pick some, and some of them are even broad somehow. So I'm taking the first one, which is software development. So software development is a broad. Software development is actually a broad. It's actually a broad title. So when you say you're a software developer, you actually have many things under you. So it could be like you're a mobile developer, you're a web, you are into developing something. Even there is something they call Internet of Things, which is like really developing, writing code into hardware systems. So there are a lot of things. So software development is generally, in this slide, I'm just taking it as a view, is developing, they develop solution, they build system, they build application, they build websites. Okay. So if you are thinking of just becoming a software developer, basically you should be able to think logically. You should be able to be like, okay, think in sequence, think logically. I know some of us will have been into some form of development. You've seen where we have all these sequence, all the loops, the conditional statements, the loop and everything. So you need to be able to actually understand that. And one thing about IT career in general is you will always have to keep learning. It's changed first. You need to keep learning. You need to be a learner. You need to keep learning. And so if you are going to software development, that's not an exception. You will keep learning. And so what do you need to learn if you are even starting? Just as I know about you, there's a lot of things to learn, but you can actually learn programming language. Okay. If you're not working, please mute. I think. Okay. Let me just continue. So there are different languages that is being used in software development. There is virtual almost every programming language, but the popular one that is the C# development, C#, Java, Python, a lot, JavaScript. JavaScript itself even have a lot of language under it, a lot of frameworks under it. There's when you have other programming language under it also. So, but just an overview, I know later on in the future, we still have some section where you actually go into in-depth, especially people that are interested in it, where you can go in depth and have a better mentorship class into what exactly to learn sequence, step-by-step, guide by guidance, so that you don't actually get overloaded with knowledge. So overloaded with information. There is a lot of things right now that you can learn, but we need to put it step by step. So if you're interested in that, I'm sure we still meet later on and talk more about that. So there is mobile application development. Mobile application development is actually you develop. I know we all even if you're on Zoom, we all use smartphone. It's either Android or iOS. So on our phone, there are different applications on it. So there are developers that actually develop mobile application. I've worked as an Android developer before, although I don't really do that much again. So if you are going to be a mobile developer, you need to be a quick learner. You need to be a fast learner because it's changed so fast. So you need to learn new things often. Every new OS that comes, every new version of OS, you need to learn something new. So you're either going to learn a program language like Kotlin. Kotlin is majorly for Android. Before it's majorly Java, but now a lot of things are moving to Kotlin. You need Swift for iOS. I hope you know what. So Swift for iOS. iOS is the operating system for iPhone. For the iPhone, for Apple. So JavaScript, where I put JavaScript, there are other frameworks on JavaScript that are actually for hybrid, which is frameworks like React Native that can be used for both Android and iOS. So that's where JavaScript is there. Flutter is also for Android. We have C#. That C# actually have a framework called Xamarin that can be used for both iOS and Android. So the next one is web development, web application development. So web application development is actually, so every most time we see the websites, but there's actually the front-end part and the back-end part. Most application that is not just a static page actually have that talks to the database, that have a dynamic content. So the back-end part that actually talks to for an application that is dynamic, people that develop that are actually called the web application development. So there are different frameworks that can be used. There are different programming languages that can be used. Part of it is like PHP, JavaScript as C#, Java itself. There's actually a difference between JavaScript and Java. There are two different programming languages, so don't let us mix it up. So JavaScript is different. Java is a different programming language. In case you are wondering why I'm writing it twice. So also we have web designers. So today world, people maybe some people still like using application on websites that are not fine. At least a website like Netherlands still have a lot of traffic, even though they don't have a good UI. But today, a lot of applications are actually putting a lot of effort into making sure that their front end is good. So that brings in a relatively new, not so new career path, which is like the people that actually focus just on design itself and the focus. So under that, I actually group the UI UX together, which at times can actually be split into two different people, because there are people that actually focus on UI UX alone. There are people that focus on front end development, website design. But let's just take it together as one in this for the purpose of just this class. So the focus on making sure that the front end is good. The UX actually means user experience. User experience is to make sure that when you use the website, are you able to do what you want to do so fast without having interruptions? So people focus on that to make sure that people are able to get to do what they want to do without actually having so much up and down. They can easily use it without reading manual, without contacting the developers. Say, oh, how do I do this on the website? So what do they use? A lot of UI for the user interface. UI means user interface. UX means user experience. So majorly for the user interface, they use one online tool, which is called Figma. Then the front-end development use things like HTML, CSS, that's cascading style sheets, JavaScript. So Adobe Suite is actually a broad tool. So under that, you have that designs package like Photoshop, different tools under it. So the next one, the fifth career path we are looking at today is database developer. So under this also, we could actually break this down into things like the database administrator, database engineer. So we are actually not, so because we can't go through everything, so I've actually tried to group them together as well. So in this case, if you are thinking of being able to manage data for big organizations, so the organization, a lot of organizations have, every organization actually, not even a lot, every organization has data. They have a lot of data, they are storing it somewhere. So if you're looking at the bank now, bank have a lot of customers, every customer does transaction, and all those records are being kept in. They are not kept in books, they are kept in database somewhere. Database is like a system, a file where they actually store all this information are being stored. So there are people that are actually responsible to make sure that this information are not being lost. These information are being kept and they can easily be accessed. So there are developers that actually focus on that. People focus on database development, database administration. So majorly their database, if you're thinking of going to that, you need to learn Microsoft SQL basically, and then learn other things. Also for this, there is actually, if you're thinking of this, it'd be good to actually think of certification also in this. There's certification for database. We have like the OCA, Oracle Certified Associates, OCP, OCM. There are certifications that you can actually look into if you are thinking of that. So the next one I'm looking at is DevOps engineer. So this is relatively also new. It wasn't so today development work, we try to make sure that things are faster. Everything, we are always trying to make sure that we make things faster day by day. So part of the process of developing any solution is, after developing, you need to get it to production, you need to get it to the market, you need to get to the user. The user is going to be able to use it. So the output are actually making sure that they automate that process to make sure that you don't actually spend a whole day, you don't spend 2 days, you don't spend, to make sure that you are able to, from development to getting to making sure that the user can use that application is faster. So they actually develop engineer. So for that, majorly they manage class solution majorly, but not just class solution. They actually manage the whole release cycle, the whole cycle of development. I know this, it might sound a little bit abstract, but we get it later. So majorly, if you are thinking of that, you need to understand some programming language, also some automation program language that actually makes for automation, things like Python. Batch is actually a command line tool. Actually, on our system, everybody's system, we have something called command line, which is actually just some black and white screen like that. So don't let me stress too much on DevOps. So the next one is artificial intelligence. So here I've grouped artificial intelligence, machine learning, engineer together. In this group, I think we've seen a lot of people that are actually into this. Austin is into this a lot. So majorly what they do is they spend time gathering a lot of data, and they're using that data to train system, to train something so that it can make decision on its own without you interfering. So a typical software developer writes code on what the system should do. You write, if this happen, do this, if this happen, do this. But at times you don't want to do that. You want your system to be able to make suggestion. I know a lot of us, we've gone to YouTube, we've used YouTube is suggesting videos to us that you don't even know exist. Based on you have studied or you have learned, oh, you like watching this type of videos, start suggesting, you like watching cats, you start suggesting things related to cat videos to you. If from cats, it's probably moves to showing you things related to lion or tiger, because like you see that you like showing animals. So the system, there's some artificial intelligence people that have actually trained YouTube system to be able to predict what you should show the user. So if you are thinking of doing that, where you can build system, so where you can build system that actually predict that. So you need to start learning some basic programming language. So for that, you need to learn Python or R, and also you need to be good in mathematics. A lot of us that just think that what exactly am I even going to use to use mathematics? When you're actually going to a field like this, you're actually going to apply a lot of the things you actually learn as a graduate. So I know some of us are already 500 level and we've been ready to pass. We've just been ready to pass, but for those that have actually been focusing into learning, so if that's what, and you think of this, you need to actually pick up your mathematics again and also learn a lot of mathematics and be able to build systems that are artificial intelligence driven. So also we have data scientists. So data scientists is basically they work with a lot of data and then build valuable insights from it. They bring insight. They bring insight is majorly like they bring out a conclusion. Let's say probably I don't know if I'm so like a conclusion. I don't know if that is the right way to use from this big data. So majorly organizations are looking into, when I say organization, I mean companies, banks, any company. They're looking into expanding. They want to be more profitable. They want to make more money. They want to do this. So data analysts actually bring a lot of data from the company, from outside the company. They look into it, and from that they are able to not just look with, they use the different tools and different analysis on it, And with that, they're able to bring conclusions to say, oh, if we go into this market, we do better. If we do this, we do better. This is the type of product we should give to our customer based on those data. So if you think of going to that, then you need to also learn either Python or R or the two language. Also, your insights when you get the results from looking to this lot of data. When you see there's actually a huge volume of data there. So you need to be able to present them. So you need to be able to probably like present them using, I know a lot of people use Power BI, use Tableau. It could even be, so just to be able to present the data you've be able to derive at, to be able to present the insights, sorry. So also we have the data analysts. So the difference between data analyst and data science is majorly like, okay, data analysts itself, they don't actually run this. They don't run the data through model. They also deal a lot of data. They don't run it through models. How do I break them? They don't run it through models. Through some computer, through a system model. In this case, they most likely actually analyze it physically. They can look into data and analyze the data themselves. So in this case, it's not really so much of big data. It's just some data, then they analyze it. They use different packages. Majorly, a lot of data analysts know Excel very well. Then they also know some other things like they might know SPSS. They might know SAS if that's what is being used in the organization they work for. So also they know how to get data from database. They will be able to write a normal SQL query. SQL is structured query language. They will be able to get data from database that they want to use to analyze data. So they could use some reporting package like business objects. I know right now some of these things that we won't have access to it, but we know as students we have access to SQL. You can read about SQL. You can learn SQL. You can learn Excel, and some things you are going to learn it on the job. You won't learn it. Some things you have to learn on the job. So we have the project manager. So here I've been looking at, okay, so it's not everything in IT that actually require coding. It's not everything in IT that you have to be able to write codes. Not everybody is going to write code. So we have things like project manager, we have like business analyst. Well, in this slide, I only include project manager. Project manager actually looks through the oversee projects. So the company decide, oh, we want to build a website. Okay, so the school decided we want to build a website for Pure and Applied Mathematics department. So building a website is not just writing codes. There are a lot of stages into this. What do you want to build? Some people go into the gathering requirements, say, oh, what do you actually want to build? What do you want to achieve? What is the purpose and all these things? So the project manager oversees all this whole thing from end to end, from inception, from actually thinking of the idea to when the user starts using it and enjoying their product, to make sure that, okay, the user actually enjoying that thing. So the project manager actually looks into this. So I know for project manager, there are a lot of certifications that are available out there. There are PMP certification, there are Prince 2. There are different certifications that they actually go through to learn to go into project management, because project management itself actually have methodology. It's not just rushing and rush up. They actually do things methodologically. It's not. So they go and learn a lot of things. A lot of this can actually be prepared for right from school. So you can start hearing if you think, oh, okay, I want to go into project management. As you are learning things, so you learn about agile methodology. And the waterfall is old school now, so we don't really use this again. So we can just read up on agile and look at different certification like PMP, like Prince 2. So also the last one I have on this slide is actually the tester. So there are other career paths. This is not in any way, but I included the quality assurance tester. They're actually very much important. More of what they do is to make sure that when an application or a product or anything is being deployed, it's being given to the user, you don't end up seeing a lot of bugs, a lot of errors in the application. When you're using the application don't start hanging. How does it explain? They do a lot of testing on this to say, oh, we need to find their own job majorly every day they get to work is they pick up the application, they pick up what has been developed to say, oh, we want to go live and start testing it. If this thing asks for my name, instead of putting my name, if I put my date of birth, what will happen? Will it break? They see, okay, it doesn't break, so that's fine. If it breaks, go back to development and then they correct that. So their major work is to make sure that things are fine. There's no error in the product that's been developed and that's been given to the user to use. So they use different tools also to do this. They use Microsoft Testing Manager. They use Jira. Jira is one automation tool like that. They use that. And also they know some basic program knowledge. They might use a lot of things. I'm not a tester, I've never been. But so basically they test different products to make sure that the end user gets the best experience. So we've seen all these different opportunities. Then the question is, how do I start? What exactly do I start? How do I even learn this? There are different ways of learning things. If you want to go into tech, you can have been so much opportunity to have learned in school. I know in school we've taught us, we've taken Pascal class, we've taken C++. There's C#. Okay, no, mathematics don't take C#, but there's actually C# class for computer science students. So there are some things that we've learned in school. In school, we've learned different things, numerical analysis. I know we've used probably MATLAB or Maple for some of our projects. So you can learn some things in school. There are coding camps, actually. Even in Nigeria, before Andela used to be, Andela is a company, I think it's majorly in Lagos, but now I don't think they do more of coding, but there are also other schools like Decagon, like, there's one in Ife, I can't really remember the name right now. There are different schools, there are different coding. So what bootcamp is, they actually bring you to a location, most time location, where they, for a particular period of time, and you are learning this, you are focused into that. So most of them, you don't pay until after the training, then when you get a job, you start paying them. It could be expensive actually after the training because you are going to pay them over a period of years when you start working. And then self-taught is important actually. If you are going to IT, you need to be able to sit down and teach yourself a lot of things. You need to pick up materials and be able to pick up videos, watch video, pick up material, read books and all those things. So there is also the aspect of teaching yourself. And then, so what exactly, also I have this area as a key points. So the key point here is, so from now, what should you be doing? So now we're students, you've seen different things, you don't even know the one you want, you're still going to look through it later on. I'm going to share this slide to it also after, I'm going to share it on the Slack channel after the training so that you can actually look into it again. So you've seen a lot of opportunities, you don't even know which one. So what exactly should you be doing now? I know a lot of us are in 500 levels, some in 200 levels, some in 300 level. I'm not sure if we have any 400 level on this. I think they're on 90. So what exactly should you be doing? The first thing is actually even have the dream. Have a dream. Like, what exactly do you want? For me, when I was in school, I think when I was in 300 level, I actually decided I'm going to be a developer. I'm going to go into software development fully. And also, I'm not just going to be in the software development. I want to be world class. I want to be world class. I want to be world. And so that's also the fact that I think of, oh, I want to be world class. I want to be able to compete with anybody, anywhere in the world. Not just compete with someone in LabTech. Not just be relevant in mathematics in LabTech, where you are not even relevant in. When you sit down with computer science students, you are not relevant, but if you sit down with mathematics, you can use your little Greek grammar. So I want to be relevant, I want to be world class. So what did I start doing? I started actually learning a lot of things, reading, then attending some form of training in school. I actually attended like a couple, like 3 that was organized by students. Majorly back then, it was more of computer science students organizing for themselves, then I attended a lot of it. So the first thing is have a vision, know what you want. So I know I want to be a software developer, then I need to have the skill. I need to learn. So the next thing is actually learn the fundamentals, learn the basics. There are basic things to programming. There are basics. If you are looking at IT, if you are looking at anything in IT, there are actually fundamentals. A lot of people just mention, oh, I know 15 programming language. You don't need 15 programming language. So you just need to know one and know it very well. Probably 1, 2, 3. If you are counting things like HTML and say that programming language. So you don't need to learn everything, but you need to know the fundamentals and know it very well. You need to know how things works, what happened in the background. So you need to know the background. You need to know, you don't just pick the library on the internet and just think, oh, that's fine, it's working. You need to know what exactly is happening. So, and then the third thing is practice. I put it in theory. They practice. When you learn the fundamentals, not just fundamentals, after learning the fundamentals, you need to learn more. So you need to practice. It's not enough to learn, to read. You need to practice. I think there's a rule of 10,000 hours that for you to be an expert, you need to learn, you need to practice 10,000 hours or something like that. I think for IT, probably it's even more than 10,000 hours. So you need to practice a lot. Especially in faculty level, this is not the time to play around. I think after class, learn programming, practice, then go to night class to read. So when I was in 500 level, I already decided that I'm going to program. At that time, I'm already into programming. I think what I do majorly, as 500 level student, we don't actually have so much work. I was studying mathematics also, so I know we did. There was 4 or 5 courses that we are doing in 500 level. So we have a lot of free times. I know we have 500 level, a lot of 500 level students here. So, So that's why I'm focusing on that. So after every class, because we are relatively free more than most students in the school, I actually I have access to the computer science lab, I don't know, ICT center, one of it. I go there to go and sit down there and code for 3-4 hours almost every day. I'm with some people are teaching me some things, I'm learning that. And after that, I go home, relax, then go to class if I want to read that day. I'm not actually. So you need to practice. That cannot be overemphasized. There is no shortcut to that. You need to. Then I say focus. You don't need 15 programming language. You don't need to learn every programming language. In fact, this career path we shared, you don't need more than one. You don't need to pick, you just need to pick just one. If you think, okay, I want to be a mobile developer, okay, that's fine. Don't think you want to be a mobile developer at the same time you want to be a data scientist. That's too much for a start. So just pick one part, spend some time learning. So at times it's also good to know something. So if I say, okay, I want to be a data scientist, there are 2 different languages I can try. Some people say you can use Python, some people say you can use R. You can just spend like 2 weeks, look at basically learn through Python, learn through R for 2 weeks. By the time you've used like 1 month looking at the 2, you should know what you want to do. By that time, you should drop one and focus on one. So you don't spend the whole 1 year, you are still looking, you've learned Python, you've learned R, you've learned C#, you've learned Java, 2 weeks on every one of them, and you've not focused on one. You need to focus, you need to know one you're actually doing. I know quite a number of languages today, but I know my major language and the one I focus on is C#. Anyway, and as far as C# can solve the problem, I'm using it to solve that problem. So you need to focus. And then the 5th one, you need to build portfolio. What do I mean by build portfolio? What you're actually going to show in the market today, when I say for companies that you want to hire today, is not just certificate. You need to show them what you can do. And how do you show them what you can do? You show them what you can do by what you've done. So you've not been employed before. How do you not show them what you've done? There are different things that you can pick up and write. I know when I was in school, I built an application, I call it school management system, even though nobody ever used it. But I built a desktop application, I call it school management system. It's actually a school management system where you just have different users, the people that can log in for the desktop application, where you can log in and then enter information, then enter student information, enter this, enter that. By building that alone, there are a lot of things you learn. By building something, there are a lot of things you learn. I know we started, a lot of people, we build CGP or computation, you build systems that can compute CPA, the entire name of students, do this. Even though some of them are low, but they are not so big, but those simple things, you build it from start to finish. So when you say it's portfolio, you build it from start to finish that you can show anybody at any point in time that this is what I've done. So I pick up I want to build like a school management system. I build it from beginning to the end. Okay, I build it from almost beginning to the end. Then I can show anybody to say, oh, I have built this before. When I wanted to join EcoBank straight from school, I joined EcoBank initially like an intern, more like actually it's an internship after my different level. So I went there. So what can you do? I showed them. I actually have this school management system, the desktop application on my system. Showed the person, Mr. Debola, then I showed him what I have done. Okay, this is it. They were actually impressed that, oh, someone coming from school has actually done something that you can actually show us, that you can see, oh, you've actually worked with, you'll be able to connect to the database, you'll be able to run this, and build a system and build something that works. So that's very, very important. That's very, very important to be able to say, oh, I've built this thing that can work. I've written a, there are different, so you've done something that is working, If you are thinking of going to mobile development, you build an application that can work. There was a time I said I've worked as a mobile developer. So there was a time I wanted to transition into mobile development, although I later stopped. I worked for 1 year as mobile developer. So I built, then I pick up some application. I pick up like a note writing application, a note taking application. Nobody's going to use it. I don't even have any longer to play. I built it. In that year, I built that one. I built some other application also. When I wanted to, so I built all these things before my service year. So when I was looking for where to serve, where I'm going to be served, when I'm going to serve, I was actually, luckily I was posted to Lagos and I was Lagos before. So I was just searching for a company, where am I going to serve? And I don't want to serve like a normal, the way you just put it somewhere and you just go and serve. No, I don't want to. So I just looked for somewhere. I posted on one group chat, one of the group chat I have, and then so they invited me. I went there. I showed them the ones I've built on my phone, and they employed me like a staff, even though I'm a copper. I was earning far more than an average copper will earn, and I even have more flexibility. So I was, based on my skill, I was employed to say, oh, just come to work 2 days in a week. As a copper, I'm 2 days in a week, and I'm collecting nice salary. Just like, so you build portfolio. That's just the strong. That's just the strong. Build portfolio. If you can't show anybody what you've done, word of mouth alone is not enough to say, oh, I can build it. You need to show us what you can build. So, and the last one is network. You need to connect to people. You need to network. Tayo has mentioned it in the beginning. He said, for connection and for recommendation. Not so you need to network to people that challenge you. Then I mentioned that I used to go from my lecture, I go to computer science lab. So then when I actually get there, at times I'm just looking at them, they are speaking big grammars that I don't even understand. I'm looking at, when will I know all these things people are mentioning? So then I connect with a lot of people. I met with a lot of people then, not just in school. Even after school, I still used to meet with people. Even up till now, we still try to network. Every day we try to network. So who should you connect with? Who should you network with? Who should you meet? Who should you guys? People that are in your level are also important. People that are seniors, like people that are into the industry already, people that have the experience, people that are where you want to go is important. People that even your colleagues are very important also. Connect with them. Let them even know that you know what you want. You know where you are going. You know this. I've gotten when I went to Access Bank, it was one of my colleagues, although I met him after school. They actually took me to Access Bank to say, oh, come. I just called him that I'm tired of Union Bank. I wanted to leave Union Bank. That's like, oh, come and join me here in Access. And straight, I didn't even go through the normal recruitment part for me to get into Access Bank. So that is very, very important. I'm also working on something that one of the people I actually met, Joshua, was one that actually linked me up there, and we are level mates in school. He was in computer science, so mathematics team level. They took me into that, like, oh, Yomi, are you free to come and join me on this? So it is very important to network. So there are different avenues for you to actually network. There are some groups I looked up. I know this already exists when I was in school then, but I know there are still, I don't know how active the Microsoft one is. I know Google Developer Strength Club is still much available, it's still more ready. You can use this link to actually join the group, and then you'll be receiving a mail and when they have any events. So when you have events, actually go, if you are free, go to the events, meet developers. Meet not just developers, meet people that like-minded. When you meet like-minded, you are challenged. You are challenged because at this point, you know you are not, even when you think you are good, you meet someone that will be like, that will be so much better, that's much better than you. There's always someone better than you. There's always things you don't know that you keep learning. So I'm going to share this slide and probably post this link that so in the Slack channel, and that Slack channel, it's important for us to join that Slack channel so that because a lot of information will be shared there. So also connect with people on LinkedIn. If you're already in 500 level, in 400 level, 500 level, you should have a LinkedIn. Not just, you don't even need to get for everyone before you have a LinkedIn account. Connect to people, add them up. When you add them up, you see things that are even on their profile, you see their skill sets, you see what they are doing, you see, oh, you look at someone that is, you are thinking of going into consulting or something, you see someone that is in consulting, what are the skill sets this person have? You can talk to the person. If you ask reasonable question, not just I, if you send I, probably they won't reply. But if you have a question, you take this, you send the question, you type the whole question and send it to them. Most people will actually reply your message if they think, oh, this person actually needs a guardian. But if you send I, a lot of people won't reply. Even me, most likely I won't reply. So send the question and people will reply that. Okay, thank you very much. You can also connect with me on LinkedIn. I think on most platforms, I just use Yomi Olatunji on that. Thank you very much. I think now we can move to question and answer. Well, I think I'm on time. Yes. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Yeah, before we go to the question and answer, I just want to give Sadiat 5 minutes to talk about business analytics. And then please, you can combine your questions together. Keep sending it to Diola, please. Sadiat, are you there?
I am, thank you.
Thank you. Yeah.
Okay, thank you so much, Yomi. That was quite interesting. And I can see you're doing great for yourself. And yeah, we're proud of you, as we are of everybody here.
Thank you.
So, as with business analytics, like I said, I graduated from Department of Statistics, and we're one family, maths and stats. So I do take a lot of courses in stat and maths as well. And when I was done, I believe that from what Yomi has said, a mindset is very important. When you're learning these things in school, I know you might have heard this a zillion times, but when you're learning in school, it's important you're thinking, what is this used for? How is it applicable? Because you might decide to go into research, but even if you go into research, you want to make sure that your research can be applied to something, can be used by someone or some organization. And not everyone gets lucky to start thinking like that. But now that you know, you could as well. Because for me, I would say I was lucky. A backstory, when I first decided to study statistics, well, like a lot of us, I wanted to do medicine, but that changed. I changed my mind. And I had thought that, my first class in probability, this is a basic story. I love music and I listen to music every morning. And I know that my music player shuffles itself. In my first class in probability, I was thinking, well, maybe there's a probability here. Why does my phone know that he has to pick the 20th music or something like that? This might be accurate or not, but that was the kind of thinking I had. And even this story, I pitched it to even my supervisors when I applied for a PhD. They were quite interested in learning that story. So the main thing is, always think about how this is going to be used. So with business analytics, whether you're studying mathematics or stat, the models that you learn, the kind of analysis, descriptive, predictive, or whatever analytics that you do can actually help businesses. So you're thinking about healthcare sector, you're thinking about education, you're thinking about finance, marketing. These days, even when you check for job openings, you would see a lot of things that says marketing analytics, healthcare analytics, this one analyst, and blah, blah, blah. And in my experience, when I first moved here, I did work for an institute that was really, a county level, or let's say in Nigeria, maybe a kind of local government level. And what we would do there, even though I was a master's student at that point, would be, look at county level statistics, do surveys, focus groups, and even, try to understand what was going on in our environment. I know this is probably not as important. We don't consider it as important in Nigeria, unfortunately. But then by doing that, we were able to better understand what was going around us. We were able to inform schools, for instance. We would have contract from universities telling us to, conduct survey on their new students. What kind of majors do they like? What kind of programs are they going into? So that the university will know that, well, this program is popular, so maybe we should invest more in advertising, or we should offer more scholarships in this area to attract more students. And that's an example. Another example would be, thinking about how you can use even optimization and things like that. Some of you might not know what I mean by optimization, but basically what you're trying to do is, for instance, you want to build demand and supply, for instance. You want to know, what's my future demand? How can I forecast that? We know time series analysis, that's very applicable in that area, and a lot of other models. Then you're thinking, okay, what is the amount of supply that I should have? What is the timing and things like that? These are a lot of things. Recently, I also worked on a project where we're trying to, estimate the amount of time a patient would wait in the hospital. This is statistical models. This is optimization. This is things that you and I know, averages, you're calculating time. Was I muted the entire time?
No, just for a microsecond.
It's just a few seconds.
I was muted. Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't. Oh my God. Okay. So as I was saying, so these are basic things that you might think, well, not so basic, but then, with the technical background that you have a powerhouse already. When I was studying statistics, a lot of people would say, for those who understand Yoruba, they would say, Kini tumele noye. A lot of people would say things like that, but believe me, only tumo, it has a lot of meaning and powerhouse, So as I said, just as a quick summary, the things you're learning in school are very applicable. You're talking about big data, you're talking about insights. Believe you me, there are times that I hear colleagues apply for jobs and the major skill they're asking is data visualization. Can you use Tableau? Can you use Power BI? And you might think, this is basic, it's just plots and graphs, but it's not just that basic because you can get a lot of information from even these charts. So I think as we continue with this forum, I would have more time to really give you more specific examples. But what I would say is whatever you're learning now, try to develop the mindset of what can I do with it? How can it help someone? How can it be applied to something? So that's it. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you very much, Adiat. So I'm sure we've heard a lot, and now it's time for questions. So please, Diola is in charge of questions. Please, you have the floor.
Thank you so much, Yomi, and thank you so much, Saidat, for the wonderful presentation. So the first question I have here is, so I'll just read it out. Thank you for your wonderful presentation. My questions goes thus. What does it take to become a software engineer? What are the steps to be taken? What are the likely challenges one should look forward to encountering in the journey? So that's the first question. Should I take it again?
Okay, yeah, I get that question. Thank you very much. So the first step is actually recognizing that you want to be a software engineer. So recognizing and admitting that, okay, so I'm going to software development. I want to do. So, okay, so let's just, for now, you're going to just software development. Say, okay, I want to be a software developer. What do I do to get into that? So now the next thing is to realize how much time do you have, how much effort do you want to put into it. There are different parts into software development. There are different things to software development. What do you want to do? Do you want to start developing websites? Do you want to develop enterprise applications? To say you want to start developing application for big companies like banks, or do you want to be developing application for small and medium people? Say, oh, I just want to develop some small websites. So, but basically, I always say, because most times you don't even know what you want. I always say, okay, start with simple programming language like HTML and CSS. Start with that. Start even learn HTML, learn CSS. Learn a bit of JavaScript. Not too much. Don't go too deep. Just learn a bit of that. By the time you actually start doing that, you develop some HTML and CSS page. By that time, you will already have an idea of what different terrains means and which one do you prefer to go to. Do you want to go into a programming language that is more of an enterprise like C# and Java? Do you want to go into something that is more easier to get into the market, that you want to quickly develop an application and get it out like PHP? Or do you want to go into JavaScript fully framework, different framework under JavaScript? So there are different parts. So just start with simple things like HTML and CSS. Almost everybody that in software development use that. Even though you attend, you might not use it every day, but at least most people know that. Then what are the likely pitfalls that you have is one of the things you can get into is actually information overload. You can end up jumping from one language to the other. So you need to be careful. You need to be careful to make sure that you are not just jumping, you're actually learning things, you are practicing. And then you need to practice. I've mentioned that a lot. You need to practice and you need to anything you are doing, anything you are learning, also try to tailor it towards a project. If I'm learning just designing a page, I could pick a page on the internet, I could pick a web page and just say, oh, I want to design this web page. And if I'm learning HTML and say that I'm tailoring it towards designing that web page, I'm learning different things. I'm learning how to do a border, this, I'm learning it, I'm trying to implement it on that thing. I'm learning different things. I'm learning how to style something. I'm learning how to put an image there. I'm learning how to put a link. I'm learning towards like a project so that I can show anybody to say, oh, I've learned HTML and CSS, and this is what I did with it. So that's just my short answer. Thank you very much.
All right, thank you. So I will take the second question. I'm a graduate serving in Lagos already, and I'd love to start something in tech. Is there an online community where I can join to meet people?
Sorry, can we start with Latif on that?
Yes, I think that would.
Latif, are you there? Oh, I don't think he's here. Latif, are you there?
Yeah, I think he's here.
Okay. Can you shoot up on this?
He's muted.
Oh, okay.
Okay,
so
maybe,
on meeting.
Maybe Yomi should just answer.
Okay, Yomi, go ahead.
Okay. So pre-COVID, there's a lot of communities that they even organize events, especially when I mentioned the Google Developer Group in Lagos is very, very active. Then, although we still do a lot of meetup, but everything is online now. I can share the link to join the mailing group so you can see the mail. Although the mail these days doesn't really, it's more of advert and things we see in the mail, more of like someone looking for a developer or something like that, which is good actually for you to be on, so you can see that. So we have like different groups like Google Developer Group. There's one for Loop event that I used to do before. I don't know if it's still active. I'm going to share some of these things as it comes along on the Slack channel. Please join the Slack channel so that you can see those updates as it comes to my mind. I know C# development on C# group, we have that is active. I'm even on the WhatsApp group for that they talk a lot in that group. So I mean Microsoft group actually. So there are different groups like that. So you want to go into tech, it's not just about joining the group. So you need to also study, and you need to know, can you actually study yourself? If you can actually study this thing yourself, if you can sit down and learn it, fine, very good. If you can't, it's not everybody that can actually sit down and just learning without being pushed. So you can actually go to some of the boot camps that are actually available. Like I mentioned, Decagon, although you are still serving, so most likely you won't be able to do it until you finish service. We have Decagon, we have Talent QL. Talent QL is one I want to remember that is in Ife. We have some online scores. So there is one called sidealso.ng. You must check that out. Sidealso.ng. I can't really remember so many of it offhand now, but remember you're going to share that.
Okay, let me just add something to it also. Sorry, I was away a little bit from my system then. Also, the other communities you can also join, like we also have the For Loop Nigeria. We have some, they are in Abuja, they are also in Lagos. We also have the Laravel Nigeria. We also have the Angular Nigeria, and we also have the Facebook developer circles also in Lagos. You can check them out also on Facebook.
Latif, can you do us a favor of just typing all these things on the chat so that they cannot
Okay,
just
definitely.
they can easily get it from the chat. Yeah, thank you.
Definitely.
Yeah.
I will do that. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Latif, and thank you, Yomi. So I'm going to take the third question. How much should I expect to be paid as a software engineer if I am a fresh graduate?
Should I go? Should I talk about this? Okay, let me just share a little experience on this. So Okay, about the money, you actually, software development, you are good, you are going to be paid well. So don't worry about money, you are going to be, but the thing is actually focused on learning a lot. So it's because so I joined banking actually as intern. And then after 2 months, I was actually converted to, so I joined as intern in EcoBank. I was paid 20,000, something like that for intern. Then after like 2 months, they converted it. They were like, oh, this guy is good. Let's just give him a conversion and let him stay a little longer. So they converted me to temporary, and then they paid me, they moved to like 60,000 naira actually as intern. I've not served at that point in time. So you are going, but during that period, my contract expired, they didn't pay me for like 2 months, but I was still going to work. Because it's not just about the money, it's about learning. So if it's about money, at that point I would have stopped. So I was learning, then later on they renewed it. Everybody, like later on during my service, when I was about to be through with it, I was actually called, like they were persuading me to come back as a full staff this time around. And immediately I came back. Initially some things happened that I was not paid for like a month. But when I joined, oh, this guy is good. They introduced me to different things. They sent me for training in Accra. That training alone, I actually made almost more than my annual salary from just one training of 1 month that I went to. If I've run away, if it was just about the money and I've run away, I wouldn't have. They were not even up to 1 month salary. I actually made more than 1 month salary, 1 year salary actually, from just the 1 month training. So it's not just about the training. It's not just about the money, sorry. It's actually about learning. So at the point when you say you're a fresh graduate, you should focus more on learning than the money. So anyway, you're going to just make sure, can you learn, can you grow? So the money should not be driving force. That's just my short answer.
Thank you. So I will take the, I'm not sorry, I've lost track. I will just take the next question. Okay, I would like to know the programming language I need to learn if I want to be a software developer. Yomi, did you get that?
Yes, but will Latif take that also? Should I take that? I also want to hear.
Yeah, so I mean, you've already said a lot about the different programming languages someone can learn. So just depending on the specific fields you would like to go into, like for example, he talked about if you are more focused on building enterprise applications, you can learn C# or Java. Like for me, I mostly work with C# because most of the time I work with enterprise applications. And you can also learn other programming languages like PHP or maybe Python for those who wants to go into either software or maybe data science. And also if you want to do a front end side of things, you can also focus more on maybe JavaScript framework like Node.js, you have Angular, you have Vue.js, and a couple of them like that. I hope that answers it.
I think it does. So I will take the next question. How can someone get a scholarship to study outside Nigeria for masters?
That goes to Tayo now. Tayo, if you answer that.
For masters from Nigeria. I'll be very real and try to be very realistic nowadays. First, there are not so many master's scholarship. If there are not so many master scholarship, so the competition on master scholarship is extremely high. So you need to have like a first class probably, and have a lot of experience to back it up. To be real, if you have a master's degree and you want a PhD, I can send you like 5 right now if you just tell me which area you want. Yeah, so that's usually the challenge. But yeah, if you want the masters, there are a few of them, extremely competitive, but it's possible. I won't say it's not possible. So if you're mathematics, for example, one of the ones that was available for mathematics students is AIMS, which I know that many of us are aware. some of us in the group here are actually graduate of AIMS also. So you can explore AIMS. There is non-Marie Curie, I forgot the name of the scholarship, also in Europe for that sponsors masters. Yeah, there are Erasmus, Erasmus Mundus also. So there's a couple of them. There's also this program by ICTP, which if you're a mathematics student or physics, you can also enjoy. So there are a couple of them, but the question is they go for the best of the best. So that's the challenge. I hope I'm able to answer the question. But my advice sometimes is if you try this couple if you try this software and these scholarships and you don't get one, the second option is why not apply for a master's in Nigeria? Apply to UI or Unilag, or let me take up LAUTECH too, but just make sure that you do something outstanding for your master's research. And then it will be easier for you. If you want to go into research, you can easily get a PhD position. At least there's quite some of them for PhD, the scholarship for PhD.
Okay, so thank you for your response, Tayo, but maybe I would give the floor to another person to respond on that question again, because if I take the question again, I think there are two sides to that question. The first is what's the best, so the question says, what's the best course to study in master level, which also be of help in tech world. So I think you've trashed out the part of how to get scholarships, how to get yourself outside Nigeria and the position for scholarship. But the other part of it is what course, for example, we have people that have done statistics, they've gone ahead to do statistics. Is it applicable in tech? Saidat did an MBA. Is it applicable in tech? So I think we also need to answer that part. What course, is there a master's in data analytics, for example, master's in, so I'll just give the floor to someone else, another person. Or you can also respond as well if you have answers to that.
Maybe I can say something. Yeah, so if I'm allowed. Yeah, so there's really no best course as far as I'm concerned. So in particular, if you are thinking about choosing a career in tech, because you can't even learn those things at the university, So I remember a lot of times people even doing masters in IT, they tell me to write programs for them in Python, And I keep on asking, how are you guys doing masters in IT information tech? And you can't even write a simple, just a simple object-oriented program in Python. And so for tech, I can still say mathematics still stands out any day, anytime. It's a very, it's just at the center of everything. If you look at AI, data science, actually, strictly even software engineering, you still see mathematics in between. So what I advise you to do is, you can just still go ahead to do your math or your stat, but just ensure that, along the line, you can just keep taking some electives. So you just need a course or something to, so the basic knowledge so that's what matters a lot as far as university system is concerned. So they just want to know if you have basic, knowledge. And so, so mathematics is still the best course as far as I'm concerned. But if you really feel like, okay, you don't want to do maths anymore, now you want to specialize. So it's not left to you to decide, what course you want to do, like big data, data science, you want to go into software engineering specific, where you are more specific. But if you still want to be open to a lot of opportunities along the line, just be at the middle and you keep, training yourself so that you can just, switch at any point in time, like what you are doing now. Tayo too. So
yeah. You said the right thing. Me, I have gone to many fields. If I would let you know, the best you could have is to have studied mathematics in your first degree. I have done physics, I've done atmospheric physics, and now I'm doing data science. Because you've done mathematics, you can fly anywhere you want, or you just pick up a few skills that you need there, you're already in. So sorry that, I mean, you might say that you don't even know what you want to do. You're just doing everything. No, it's not, I'm not doing everything. I just do what I enjoy at that point in time. So at the time I enjoyed physics, at the time I enjoyed atmospheric physics. Now I'm enjoying data science. So that is life. I enjoy, at least I'm not restricted. I'm not bounded by anything. Of course, some other people might have a different argument to that, but I would just say that, be more open and try to explore other opportunities. I know Sadia wants to say something. She's smiling.
Oh, yes. I don't expect you guys to say anything different than study mathematics, but you guys are right. I did not study mathematics. Well, I kind of did, but statistics was my major. I would say that for a master's degree, while I agree with what you guys have said, I would say that these days, there are lots of master's degree programs that are pretty much the same, but different titles. You would see masters in IT, you would see applied statistics, you would see business analytics, you would see data science and all. When you look at the courses, they're pretty much the same. So what I would say is, if your focus is tech, you want to look, when you're applying, look at the course content. What are you going to be learning in that course? Usually for my field, I deal with a lot of programming in R and Python. So you want to make sure those kinds of things are in those courses. And believe me, like Austin said, you're not going to learn everything in class. So of course, you have to do a lot of self-learning and continuous learning. So for me, from all of these masters that I've listed, you can actually go for either. Even a master's in mathematics, of course, you can do that. But then at the end of the day, make sure that that degree is focusing on what you want to do. Yeah, thank you.
Yes, and one last thing. So be it math or stat, so it's, at some point, so I can't distinguish between these two because I did mathematics, but for my PhD, I've been doing more statistics. So at some point, my supervisor has even just, hands out because he tells me that he doesn't know much statistics. And, so I really like the fact that, okay, math and stat, I can say it's just the same at some point. And, you have the tool. Math is it's just a tool, math or stat. Because even when I switch to AI, I still find out that it's just the bedrock of data science in general. The optimization techniques they use, everything is statistics, everything just embedded in packages. So for me, I picture these things in my head. So, it didn't take me much time. Even I teach a lot of students, even doing these machine learning courses. I've never taken a coursework on machine learning, but I know it so very much because I did math. I understand how it works. And so for technology to always, like Yomi also said, and a lot of people have said, your programming instinct has to be very good, not just cramming all those things. You have to understand the logic. So programming is more than just writing code, but just the logic. You can, when I started with Python, it didn't take me much time. I switched to R. Now I'm using Python R. At some point, because of my machine learning models, I want to deploy them on the web. I learned JavaScript. I wrote to Yomi. He told me start learning. It didn't take me a few months. I used JavaScript. The logic is just the same, just slight difference in syntax. I also use MATLAB. So you can just stick to one, learn it, then just jump around. And your career in technology will be very, very, very strong, regardless.
Okay, yeah, thank you for that point, Mr. Austin. So I think in addition to that, one important factor we have to consider is we have individual differences, and we must always try to study ourselves to know our strengths, the area where we are so strong, and our weakness. So I will advise each and every one of us to focus on our strengths and also give room for flexibility. Because I remember when I started, Dr. Derino is the one that supervised my master degree. So when I was at AIMS, Tanzania, and we built on that when I was doing my second master degree at Lappeenranta University of Technology in Finland. So, but when I applied for PhD, so I have to move from using integral transform to solve PDE. So I have to move to water wave, where I have to study the particle trajectory. in shallow waterways. So we just have to know the area where we can excel and concentrate on it, and also give room for improvement in case if we have to adapt to other feeds.
Thank you.
So thank you very much, everyone, for your wonderful submission. So I'll go to the next question. So if focusing on pure mathematics, how can I apply pure mathematics in other areas aside academics?
Yeah, I think regarding that, we all will have that problem when we are in Nigeria. So, but when I move here, so I can see that people, they are really using pure mathematics. So in industry. So although I cannot say more about how to use pure mathematics in industry, but I have a lot of friends here that are applying pure mathematics in industry.
So can I chip in one more thing?
Yeah.
So I still don't, yeah, I know there is pure math, applied math. So for pure math, it's very applicable, but you also have to think about it. So just like the theoretical computer scientist, I mean, so it's they are in a different realm, you know. So yeah, it's so the equations already, the equations per se might not be applied. So those equations, but you know, it creates a room for other things to work out. So, you know, when we start dealing with all these spaces of things, you know, it creates, you know, this logic of, you know, something else can come out of these, you know, these ideas. So whether pure math or applied math, everything is math. So it now depends on, you know, what you want to use it for. But obviously they use math so they use math everywhere. Even I do a lot of pure math too in my applied program. So, but I'm not proving anything. I'm just using those things. So if you want to be more theoretical, then you think of pure math. But if you want to go into applied, then think about the area of application, the math where you can apply it completely. So you don't have to prove too many things. Yeah, I think that's just.
Yeah, one of the things I want to say is that most of the models, machine learning models, are built by using applied mathematics. Recently, I was doing data reduction with a particular formula, singular decomposition. So these are the way you can use mathematics in the real world. So they will show you, you know, it comes in form of a model, but as a mathematician, you will know that this thing is something I've done before. And even in machine learning models, most of we do a lot of linear algebra and all those things. Yeah. So there is application of what you are doing currently in the real world. And when you come in, and even as a data scientist, you will see that many of the models are being built by all these applied mathematics.
Okay, I think we can move on.
Taya, I think I can speak to application of mathematics a bit, okay. And then so majorly your linear algebra where you values and the likes. In industry, they are using it seriously, majorly for the principal component analysis, whereby you have big data, like a lot of people have said. But so majorly what your mathematics will do is to look at the data set and check for variable contribution or maybe record contribution. So with that, you can notice that maybe out of 5 million rows, is only maybe 500,000 rows that is contributing 80% variability in your data set. So if you pick those 80% records, which is just 500,000 records, you can quickly build your machine learning model, and this will generate your results faster. and give you your prediction. So to some extent, for now, it might be even me as a person. When I was doing linear algebra, then I like something practical. I was trying to reason out how it's being applicable. But now in the industry, I can see that at least it's helping with your computation capacity. And when it comes to programming, I can say programming is just basically mathematics. It's just for you to be able to reason how to connect your dots and the conditions. So I can say mathematics is to some extent really applicable. So thank you.
All right, thank you so much for your contribution. So I'll take the next question. We have a couple, so we have to run through them very quickly. Okay, the next one is there any hope for those that aren't in first class or second class? Does the class have anything to do with learning?
Hello.
Okay, maybe I should. Okay, Yomi, please go.
I think Yomi can
I think Yomi is the best. Yomi, please answer. I mean, it's the best person to answer.
Okay, I actually finished with 2-2. In fact, I was in third class till final level second semester actually. Although it wasn't, so I finished with 2.58 CGPA. So it's not, and nobody has actually told me like, oh, you should have had 2-1, maybe if you have 2-1, we give you this job or something. So now also, because I know I don't have strong degree, strong certificate to present, you need to present something. So which is why make sure that, okay, your skill, you are top notch, even though you don't have the certificate, you can. So you go with your strong points to say, oh, I'm going for any job, I'm going with what I can do for you. Well, so if you have first class, obviously you fly your first class that, oh, I'm a first class graduate, because that's a strong point. But just make sure that you have something strong. If you are not having a strong certificate, have something else that is strong. But you don't need to have first class to be successful. But if it's possible, if I have the option to go back, I actually have 2-1. I will go back and make sure I have 2-1. But that's not a barrier in life. It's not going to be anything. That's just what.
Yeah, thank you, Yomi. Even also, just to add to what you said, at the same time, I mean, as much as you work towards having the best results, you also have to balance to what you actually know. So, in Nigerian environment, your CGPA doesn't necessarily mean what's in your head. So because if you have first class and you get somewhere you can't really perform what a first class should know, then you have just embarrassed yourself. And so it's important to create a balance. I remember this is one of the issues I had when in LAUTECH, creating a balance between passing Find Daddy course, even though I did not understand everything inside, and actually trying to get what I really, really know. So this is a balance you have to create. Try your best to have the best results at the same time. Make sure you know something. So your CGPA doesn't really, it matters, but not in all cases. You also have to learn something.
Okay, thank you so much. So in essence, just try to give your absolute best to what you're doing at the moment. You're a student, try to give your best to your academics and try hard as you can and make sure you get your skills, up there as well. So there is always hope. There is always hope for you to look inwards and find something you're truly happy doing, something you're truly proficient in and excel at it. So there is always hope for you. All right, another thing I would like to mention is that please, let's try as much as possible to reduce the name calling. Tayo, please no name calling. Everyone, please no name calling. The reason is because this session is recorded. And when something like this is recorded, it goes further than we can even predict. So now you've mentioned somebody's name. Thank God it's not the person's real name. So we can technically say that anybody can be a Find Daddy actually, but let's try as much as possible to reduce them calling, because God forbid it lands on the laps of Find Daddy. Then you have a lot of explaining to do. And Dr. Oderinu has a lot of explaining to do as well. Let's try not to mention names. And if you absolutely must mention names, make sure you're talking about the fantastic things they've done for you. Thank you. Okay, so I will take the next question.
I think before you go to that, I think we need bro Timothy here to talk about Find Daddy more.
Okay, maybe after everything is done and when the recording is stopped, maybe you can, I don't want to be a part of name calling actually. Okay, so let's go to the next question. Can a mathematician work as an aeronautical engineer or work in climate field or aeronautic field? Emmanuel, I think you are in the best position to answer that question.
Okay, aeronautic engineering. I would say yes, because if I can start with mathematics and find myself in atmospheric science, so I realized that most of the knowledge in like aeronautic engineering is basically learning about fluid mechanics, which includes like turbulence, basically. And also like the engineering aspect, which is mechanical and the rest. So it's very possible. In fact, you can apply for a master's in aeronautic engineering, and I'm sure you'll be one of their best candidates. So it's very possible.
Okay, thank you for your response. And I would also say that whatever path we think we need to walk, most likely someone has walked that exact path before. All we need to do is to open our heart and really do our research. So I know that there must be someone somewhere that is a mathematician, that trained as a mathematician and is currently an aeronautical engineer. All you need to do is you need to study. Now look at that person. How did he work it? What did he do along the line? And if you can network with that person, if you can connect with that person, please do. So there is, I know one thing I know about math is like a gateway. They say marijuana is a gateway drug, right? So I would say mathematics still is a gateway course. You can literally be anything you want to be with your pure and applied mathematics certificate. So there is someone somewhere out there that has walked that path before. And we can also begin to flex our influence right now. Let's look within our network and let's look for someone that has walked that path before, and we'll be happy to connect you with them so that you can learn from them and you can learn practical ways to go from point maths to point aeronautic engineering. Any other contribution before I go to the next question? Okay, so I will take the next one. Now, this is a very long one, so let's prepare for a very long journey. As a 500 level student with average knowledge in Python and JavaScript, with some framework like React.js, Native, and Node, and being able to develop some website alongside with mobile app. So I guess the person is saying that he has some skill in Python, JavaScript, React.js, and native nodes. And the person is able to develop websites and mobile applications. And the person can also build models in machine learning, using machine learning algorithms. So the person says, our teacher said it's good to master just one thing during the class. My question is that, what should I do? And the opportunity outside there. Also, is there any internship I can enroll for? So I think what this person is trying to say is this person kind of has skills, in very many fields, mobile development, mobile application development, machine learning, and he has been advised to look, to focus on one. So I guess the person's question is, what should I do? Should I continue to be a generalist, or should I indeed focus on one? And what are the opportunities outside there? And is there any internship I can enroll for? So I will give the floor to someone to respond. Yomi, Latif.
Okay.
Yomi can take this one.
Okay, so I could say like, okay, you actually have a lot you're doing, like you've been to mobile, web, analytics and everything. So that's actually a lot. It's difficult to be world class in 3 at once. It's difficult. So every of them actually have opportunity. There's a lot of opportunity in any one of them, anyone you choose. There is opportunity in anyone you choose. So I think probably at this point, because you already have some experience, you already have some skill. So you look at, okay, what industry do you want to go into? So I think you should actually look at the industry you want to go into. What industry do you like? And based on that, look at what exactly do you prefer more, and which of these do you actually like more. Then focus on it. It doesn't mean that you forget the remaining, actually, like you forget it, but you are more of, okay, so at first you are even like, okay, so maybe probably you focus on web. I don't know. Probably you're like, okay, so web is, you know web more. So if you wake up in the middle of the night and they ask you anything web, you know it, you know the answer. But also, if in case in the future something appears in mobile which you've done since you already know that already, you can still pick it up. But web is so there is actually opportunity in anyone. So I can't say no, drop this one, pick this one. No, I can't, because there's opportunity in every one of them actually have future. Every one of them have future. But I just feel like, okay, if you think you want to be in the top 1%, you need to focus. That's my, I don't know if someone has more is to say today.
Okay. So I'm also of the opinion that you need to be proficient, truly good at one thing. You need to be truly good at one thing. Else you'll be known as a hustler. You know, any work, what exactly do you do? Oh, I can do anything. I can mop, I can sweep, I can cook. But what do you do? If you're not very careful, anytime they need somebody to do a massive contract, they won't remember you because they believe you're just a generalist. You are any work day. So you are like an hustler in quote. You will never be remembered for something huge, something that can truly take you from this level to 100, right? But if you are proficient in one, let everybody know that you do this and you are very good at it. That will get you many opportunities and will even introduce you to other things. Do you understand? So, for example, if you want to be if you want to develop mobile application, be very good at it. Be very good. Chances are high that when you get deals along that line, then they begin to ask you things like, oh, do you also do UI UX? Oh, do you also do that? Then if you think you have the time to take the job, you can say, oh, I actually do that. But if they know you as, is in tech, what part in tech? Everything. What part exactly? He said it's everything. No, they will never take you serious. So that's what I have to say. Does anybody have any other comment?
Yes, I have something. I think the guy is really loaded, to be frank with you. So like at this stage, if you have such knowledge, so if you're very good in machine learning, you're a developer to use React, JS, React Native, it's very good. Now think about how do you want to balance these all three things? They are really broad. So if you want to be fully into software, you can just stick with, you know, just stick with being a web developer like Yomi mentioned, or an Android developer. But if you are thinking of, you know, you want to do both, in my case, so I'm not saying you have to be an expert or you have to do all. For example, as a machine learning person or someone who is deeply into AI, you know, computer vision or NLP, you know, you need frameworks to deploy these models. You understand? So like when you build a machine learning algorithm, so how do you deploy it? You want to deploy it to the web or you want to deploy it to the mobile? If you do a face recognition, you know, if you build a face recognition deep learning algorithm somehow, so, and you want to test your algorithm, of course, you can do all those things in Python like you used to do. You can check, you can test your models, you know, test it and it works. Now, how do you deploy it for someone who is not using Python, like in real time? So you also need knowledge of, you know, this software development. You understand? So think about what you want to do. Do you want to be a machine learning engineer and software developer? You pick this option. But if you want to go fully into software engineer, I mean, without the machine learning thing, then you just have to focus on that thing because it's really broad. So, but you have a lot at hand, but you just need to explore the options. So, of course, in this place, people do a lot of things, and I can say they are jack of all trades and they are master of all. Because I've never seen, I mean, these guys over here. So, of course, they say jack of all trade, jack of all trade, master of none. No. But I mean, but I've seen with my eyes over here, these guys are jack of all trades, and I can still say they are master of all. Yes, these guys are really good at what they do. I don't even want to start mentioning names, but in fact, what I've seen makes me feel like, I need to step up my game, and, I have to just learn what I want to learn, be good at what I want to do. It might take time, but you can be really good at what you do. I mean, to be frank.
Okay, let me talk about the second part of the questions where the person asked about the internship he or she can look for. There are a couple of them though, but you can, if you check the Google Summer of Code, they mostly run it around May to August. And also there's another batch from December to March. And also there's one also called Outreachy. All these are just open source projects whereby you can work on with this kind of like Google Summer of Code and Outreachy. And also you're still going to get paid for it. I think for Outreachy is about $6,000 for the period of that internship. And also there are others too, like the Digital Ocean Oktoberfest. So it's also like an open source program whereby you contribute to open source, and then at the end of those programs, I think for Digital Ocean, they give you some packages, maybe like t-shirts and other stuff. I'll also drop the link in the chat.
All right, thank you. So I will go to the next question now. As a digital marketer and website developer, can I work in a bank? And what are the other job or field opportunities I can work as a graduate mathematician?
Okay, so can you work in the bank as a digital marketer and web developer? Okay, so banking is broad. Actually, there's a lot of departments in banking. I don't know everything. I know there are people into corporate communication, probably. I'm not sure I really know full extent of what digital marketing is. But if you are thinking of being in the development team in banking, the core development team, okay, so that's not the skill you'll be looking for to be there. But if you are thinking of, there are other departments in the banking, there are corporate communication, banking actually have a lot of departments, a lot of things. I think I don't even know everything that goes on. I know quite a lot, but not everything. So I know probably that would be more relevant to people that are in those other departments. They also do some form of coding a little bit in some departments also. But if you are thinking of actually going into the core development team in banking, you will be thinking of programming language that are actually related to more enterprise. So when you say enterprise, actually more of building large applications. So things like Java, C#. I know some banks use Node.js now. Most banks don't, but some banks use actually. So that's more of what you actually be thinking of. But those skills are actually awesome key skill. Just that if it's called development in banking, that's just what.
Well, if I may, let me quickly pitch in something there. So I would say that outside Nigeria, I would say yes, a very resounding yes. As a digital marketer and a website developer, you do have your place in a bank. In layman's language, what does digital marketing mean? If you want to sell a product, you either sell it with word of mouth, or you do TV ads, or you do radio jingles, things like that. Those are the traditional marketing tools that we use. And that's what is prevalent in Nigeria. But outside Nigeria, you see people, businesses, companies, including banks, taking their businesses online so that they can have visibility. And they use effective content strategy to improve brand awareness and boost engagement, right? So have you ever, for example, now you want to open an account, maybe you want to know about bonds. You want to know about a particular bond that the government is selling through a particular bank or through a particular financial institution. What do? Well, I don't know what people do in Nigeria, because I think that what we mostly use our internet for, our searches. There was one time I used Google Trends to actually look for what we search for in Nigeria. And all I was saying is Obi Cubana, TikTok, this, that, right? So I would say that the digital marketing field in Nigeria is still developing. It's still developing. But outside Nigeria, most especially in North America, in Europe, oh my God, the competition is very stiff. And if you must succeed, you must also compete in the digital space, right? So for example, you have your product. It's not just enough for you to put your banner up in your office and say, when they come, they will know that we will do savings. When they come, they will know that we open current accounts. That's what we do in Nigeria. We basically sit in the bank and we wait for people to come in and open bank accounts. Or maybe if you know that they have money, you go to their office and you say, come and bank with us. That's what we do, right? But in developed nations, what do? Everything is online. Oh my God, the competition is very stiff. They use content. Before you finish typing, GIC certificate, you already have 3 businesses competing for the top space. Have you ever gone to Facebook and you see their marketing shoes? That's digital marketing. Have you ever opened Google and you search for maybe a mechanic near me and you see some numbers there and you see ads, Google ads. That's digital marketing. So yes, outside Nigeria, I would say you have your place in the bank. You have your place in the bank. But within Nigeria, I would say that no, maybe you do not want to put your eggs in that basket. Because we are still growing in Nigeria. If you go to a bank now, maybe like Zenith Bank, and you go to their web, do they have functioning blogs, exciting content? No, they don't. All they have is a beautiful website that says, we are in Liberia, we are in Ghana, we are in Mali. That's it. That's basically it. So if I were you, I would not want to put if you want to do digital marketing, you can take your digital marketing business and ideas to businesses that truly need it. I don't think the banks in Nigeria are ready for digital marketing. So I would say for Nigeria, no. But outside Nigeria, oh my God, you have a lot of bags that you can secure. All right. So what are the other job or field opportunities that you can work as a graduate mathematician? Well, I think even in this presentation, we've mentioned a lot. Even the slide, that is just tech. You're yet to go into other fields. So there are many fields, very many fields that if we begin to mention them, I'm afraid we will not leave this place in another 30 minutes, right? But I will give the floor to someone else to respond, right? So what are the other job or field opportunities that you can work in as a graduate mathematician? Does anybody want to contribute?
There is a new field I discovered recently. I'm not sure there are so many of them in Nigeria. I don't know. I don't want to say anything on that. But they are called quantitative analysts. And what they do, in fact, their job is basically, it's an applied mathematician. It's only just the work of an applied mathematician. So banks, insurance companies have these models they use to predict which customer to grant. For example, for an insurance company, they have these models they use to determine which customer to give loan. They have all these algorithms that automatically automate everything. I remember when I applied for my credit card, the guy just entered all my information on the computer, and then he told me, oh, just 5 minutes, they will tell me if I should grant you the credit card or not. And he said, if we don't grant you, I have another way we can do it. And then he came out, he said, oh, it looks like we won't grant you because you don't have any credit history and blah, blah, blah. So this is it. So these are some of the models they'll use. Once they have your record, the computer automatically tells them, and this is the work of quantitative analysts. So they analyze this model, try to validate it, try to improve it and work on it. And this is basically mathematical modeling, basically, which is what you did in school.
So I will just tell you a short story. I remembered when I got my admission and I told my uncle, because my uncle kind of raised me. So when I told him, oh, by the way, I've been admitted to study math, it was like, Tisha Koloma Shigbe. People just kind of have this stereotype in their mind. Once you do biology, we're going to be a biology teacher. Once you do math, you're going to be a math teacher. But ultimately, it is your responsibility to look inward and look outward for opportunities. There are many opportunities yet to be tapped. The ones we know are the ones we're sharing with you. But when you start searching, when you truly start searching, then your eyes will be opened And you will even know more. You will even come to us and say, do you know I can do this? I'll be like, wow, really? I remember when I was in school, I went to a seminar and there was this guy, he came from InterSwitch. I think it was one of the guys that wrote the code for Michel Megbele. What was the name of the guy, the owner of InterSwitch? But he was part of the people that started InterSwitch with the man. And he finished from maths department, Ladoke Akintola University, maths. And I was like, oh my God, really? So I can work in InterSwitch, and I caught that. Oh, and you know, I was intentional about it. I was intentional about seeking information. What can I do? Because it's like a professor has gone ahead of me that I'm going to end up in the classroom. It's not like anything is wrong with being a teacher, yeah? But the thing is, it's bad if you're boxed in a corner and someone has literally defined the future for you and say you cannot be more than a teacher. I tell you, you can be more than a teacher. You can be more than all those things we are talking about. All you need to do is to be intentional about searching for opportunities and researching into people that has gone ahead of you. How did they get from ear to ear? How did they, even all those big people that we know, all the people like, you know, all these big people that we know, how did they move from the classroom, from an economic student to working in this big giant corporations, and learn and see what you can, you know, what you can learn, you know, just what you can learn from their lives, basically. And if you think it aligns with your own goal, then you can pursue it. But yes, there are very many opportunities for you. All you need to do is to research and be intentional about it. So I'll take the next questions, but I'll give a pause. Any other contribution before I go ahead? All right. Okay. Aside being consistent, does tech require so much finance?
So much what?
Finance. I mean, I think what the person means is money. As you know, we've been talking about be consistent, practice. What about the monetary aspect, the financial aspect of it? What are the implications, the financial costs? I think that's what the question is all about. Does tech require so much finance?
I think just have a laptop.
Okay.
That's the most expensive thing you will pay for.
And internet.
You need internet. You can struggle around, look for internet. I think at times you even get free internet in Lautech. There was time that you can get. We go to the school in the middle of the night to look for free internet and some labs. At that point, it's faster in the middle of the night. You download every tutorial you need at that point. But the main thing you need to spend your money on, the main thing you need is a laptop. So once you have that, I think you're good. It doesn't require so much finance.
Well, I would say that anything that would take you from this point to the point where you truly want to be, you know, where you become a successful person, something has to give. It's always expensive. You're always going to be paying for something. Pay for subscriptions, pay for internet, pay for classes, pay for tutorials sometimes, depending on what your needs are. If you're a self-starter, for example, if you think you can sit with your computer and learn yourself, good for you. But some people, they really can't do that. They literally need people to hold their hands and walk them through, right? So for someone like that, it's going to be more expensive. But if you think that you're good to go yourself, all you need, you know, you're literally driving, self-driving, then I think all you need is your computer and your internet, like they said, and maybe your subscriptions, like they said. But I want you to keep in mind that usually anything that is going to set you on the path of destruction, that is what is cheap. Anything that is going to set you on the path of destruction is usually very cheap. Very, very cheap. In fact, they can even say, take one, get 5 free, right? So I would say that prepare to spend some money, because when you're spending the money, tell yourself, I'm going to make the money. In fact, it is we spending money sometimes that jumps us into, you know, you just tell yourself, I've spent so much money on this course. I've spent money on Coursera, spend money on Udemy, spend money on Remenko. I'm going to make my money. I've got to succeed. I've got to make my money back. You know, so please, if you think you need to spend money, spend reasonably. Make sure you are investing in something that you truly want to do long term. All right. So I think the last one is not really a question. Please, did you all graduate with first class? because you guys sound really exposed and sound-minded. So I'll take that as a compliment. Thank you very much. But I for sure know I did not graduate with the first class. So I would say, no, we are not all first class graduates. But sometimes, because of your circumstances, you did not find yourself in that first class. But if you have the first class mindset, you need to move up, because you know that you're going to be competing with the best of the best of the best, right? And even all this best, they're not relenting, and they're not even planning to relent. So you know that you have a stiff competition going on. So you need to expand your mind. You can't afford to leave your mind untrained and carry that mind of Lautech, if that is what you are doing, oh my God, you can have a first-class degree and carry a third-class mindset, if there's anything like that anyway. But you get what I mean? So you've got to work on your mind. You've got to really, really work on yourself. So no, we did not all graduate with first class. But what I can tell you is that all of us, we've worked on ourselves so much so that we have become what you perceive of us. But we are still growing. I for sure know I'm still growing. So I'll give the floor to someone else to comment on that.
Did anyone finish with first class here? Please just raise up your hand so that please, be proud of it, please, because I know I did not. Who else?
Saidat. And believe you me, oh my God, it's beautiful to have a first class. I would give anything to go back, most especially and correct my 100 level.
Taya, you are muted. Taya, you are muted.
Sorry, we only have one person, so
no. We have
I'm Femi too.
So we only have two. Okay, so I did not finish the first class, so
yeah, but almost.
Almost is not first class.
Almost is not, unfortunately.
Yeah, and sorry, Sister Adela. Another thing I want to add to that is that please be positive. Absolutely. I don't want you to join the group of people that says it's not possible. Let me give you, something happened some years back when we were in 300 level. I have to be the rep of my department then. So that was the day. So we were having a chat. And there was this guy in my department, and what he said was that, he was very, very furious. And what made him to be very furious with other departments was that he noticed that there are some people that are so serious. And actually my department, my own level was one of the smallest level in mathematics department. I don't know, maybe they have such experience after we left. We're just 27. And I think some of us then were so serious that we just want to be more focused, read our books and everything. So, that was the day some guys just called for a meeting. So when they called for a meeting, they were saying that, okay, we should not be too much serious. We should try as much as possible and be having some relationship with ourselves and everything. It's what he was saying was fine, but there was this statement that came up. This guy just said, after all, everything we are studying, and at the end of the day, whether you graduate with first class or 2-1, everyone will still be on the same level. No one is going to have a job. I said to myself immediately that, no, I'm going to have a job. And I never even think of coming abroad, even having a scholarship there. But, I want us to always be positive. Don't let us join the group of people that they are saying negative things always. Seriously, I always tell people, the only thing you can do for yourself is just to be the best and make sure you focus on what you are doing currently. If you are in school to study. Many times, there are some things I don't know that Yomi did. I know much about Yomi then, but I never knew Yomi has been doing programming. But I remember what he told me then. He was my senior that I said, I love doing something, engineering work. I said, okay, what are you doing in mathematics? That was the question I asked him that day. But this guy, he look at his own experience. His life really challenged many of us here. Even I'm sure the department will be so surprised about him. What are you doing at your home, at your own convenient time? What are you doing? Are you joining people that are saying negatives about Nigeria? You don't know where you are going in the future. You don't know where life will take you to. Be positive. Read what you're supposed to do. And in this life, procrastination cannot work. If you want to study, study. If you don't want to study, don't study. If you want to give your time, as we were saying, be positive. You must also dedicate some hours, sometimes every day in doing this. That's how it can work out. I'm going to do it tomorrow. I'm going to do it. And, you know, if you ask one of us, 2 or 3 of us, that how many times do we spend on social media? I'm sure that many of us here will say, I don't think I remember Instagram. I don't think Tayo, I don't know Tayo, Professor Tayo has an Instagram page. You, Yomi, I don't know.
I have one for your business.
Austin, do you have Instagram? I don't think you have an Instagram page.
Yeah, I do.
But you know, some people are just there. They can spend hours. Sister Diola, I don't know. Maybe you are there or maybe but you know, many people.
I'm on Instagram.
So many people, they don't harness the importance of this current situation. They were just going celebrating the celebrities, and see those celebrities, they've gone far. What do you want to do about your life? Think about it. If you want to study, study. If you want to do another thing, if you want to go into maybe drama or anything, or this joining, go for it. If you want to be an IT person, if you want to, then start writing code, start thinking of how it's going to be possible for you. That is, Slack is there for you. You can ask many questions. You know, you don't know what future holds for you, but your preparation can take you to anywhere you are going to be in life. I pray God will help us. I believe every one of us.
Yeah,
Thank you.
Please, if I may just chip in something.
Yeah.
Well, Emmanuel is here. I mean, we are colleagues, but I learned from this guy. So aside the fact that I know I'm just highly favored, God, of course, is on my side, personal hard work. I can literally say that Tayo is one of the people that, you know, that brought me this far. Yes, because this guy, you see, is very gentle. This guy, yeah, Tayo. I mean, Dr. Emmanuel, as you see, you know, this guy is really resilient. And when I mean resilient, I usually use the word. He's a diehard. He doesn't give up. You know, he makes use of the internet. So if you are here and you always feel that, you know, which opportunity do I have, like, I mean, which opportunity is out there? Just go use your Google, you know, so always search for opportunities. Go to Google, scholarship, MSc, for Nigerians, international. You will see a lot of them. Subscribe for scholarship or internship, and try to also, you guys should also apply for, I don't know if things have changed, conference, summer schools. I don't know if Dr. Oderi know, but I mean, it would be something nice if I have opportunity, if there is one in at my universities that have funding, I can always send where students can, you know, come. I mean, so Tayo, you understand what I mean? Opportunities come from there. You can meet people and they give you internship. You know, you can see, I mean, a lot of opportunities can come up. And yeah, to be frank, just the internet is what you need. Of course, you can be on IG, do anything. I also love IG too. I go there to listen to jokes, but I also do other things too for to look for opportunities. I'm also looking for opportunities, even as I am like this. So use the internet wisely.
Okay, thank you so much. So thank you, Shay, for your wonderful contribution. You know, it's funny that when we read our Bible, we read so many things, but we choose to forget some things. So I know all of us are not Christians, but I will just, you know, there's this psalm that says, blessed is the man who does not sit who does not walk in the counsel of the ungodly. But there's a part that says that nor sit in the seat of the scornful. There are some people that it's not as if they're bad. They don't smoke ganja. They don't do all those frivolous things, but they sit with the scornful. They sit with people that literally does not see anything good about life. And unfortunately, if you pitch your tent with people like that, you will, God forbid, you will not find good things. You will not find good things. I'm proud to say that myself and my friends, 3 of us, including Tayo, 4 of us, we applied to AIMS together. 3 of us, myself and my friends, we were friends from 100 level to 500 level. At one time, we all went to AIMS Tanzania. I got to neighbor AIMS and I insisted that they applied, and they did apply. And all of us went to AIMS that same year, and Tayo as well. What does that mean? What am I trying to say? What I'm trying to say is that pick your friends. Pick your friends. Pick like-minded people. If you know that you want to be somebody in life, people that wants to be somebody in life too, right? So that it will even reduce your hours of research. Because if you're looking in one direction, they are also looking in very many directions. And by the time you share your notes, they will tell you, Jotibo, have you heard? This is also viable, really? Oh, have you heard? This is also viable. But if you're literally the only, you're the only person that wants to go somewhere in your community of friends, by the time you are talking about scholarships, they'll be talking about Obi Kubana. Not like Obi Kubana is bad, but that's his business. Obi Kubana is minding his business. He's in showbiz. So if you know that you don't want to do showbiz full time in the future, you absolutely have no business being on Instagram full time, right? But if you know that you want to be a fashion designer for the celebrities, then maybe you need to keep up with the Kardashians and you need to keep up with the Lenguis of Nigeria. So that's my submission, and that's the final question for the day. Thank you very much. So it appears someone is waiting patiently for a giveaway. I don't know.
Is Tayo there?
I don't know where he just left now. Okay, he's there. He unmutes himself.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry. Yeah, so Dr. Derek, are we done with the questions?
Yeah, yes, sure.
Yeah, Dr. Henry, you round up.
Oh, okay. I just want to say very much thank you to every one of you over there. I listened to everyone's contribution right from beginning to the end, especially in the question and answers aspect. And I really want to say that I really want to say that we really appreciate everyone. Yeah, so yeah, the students on this particular meeting at the moment, I think you are so privileged. You are so privileged because the people you are talking with are all graduates of LAUTECH as well. And they were once like you. But I want to say that I think the last set of people that graduated from LAUTECH on this group among the facilitators is in 2015. Between 2015 and now, so many things have changed. The way you were now, you were then is not the way the students are still at the moment. As a matter of fact, I like the speech, the handy speech of Sheyi, Adeola, and so on, because it's like you are already touching some areas in which the student has been totally distracted over, honestly, because I kind of like that more. Why I said these students are so privileged is because perhaps they don't know. Yes, they were talking about first class or not first class the other time. I can tell you for free, I mean the students, that all the facilitators we are seeing here have the mind of a first class. That is the truth. They have the first class mind. I cannot just be going into the details. For instance, I think we have 3 or 4 people on this group who are medalists at the National Mathematical Center. We have someone who is the CGPA record holder of LAUTECH, and her closest rival is still on the group anyway. And so on. So these are some of the things which you guys really need to learn from. Well, so much has been said. So much has been said, from giving you tentacles of mathematics into actuarial science, financial mathematics, operation research, IT, into academia. Well, into academia. I know Adiola was saying the other time that some people have the notion that the moment you are studying mathematics and so on, the belief is that you really want to teach. Yes, that's what some people believe. And why some people are so scared of it is because teachers are not well paid. That's the main reason. if they are well paid, they wouldn't be scared. So I think, justice has been done to the IT sectors. So you really have a lot of areas to explore into. Well, so much has been said. Much of the work still lies on you. Now I'm talking to the students, whether whether graduates or so on. I'm talking to you because Socrates will say that I cannot teach anybody anything. I can only make them think. What you've been exposed to, what you've been told, is just to reset your brain, reset your mind, get you encouraged. The whole bulk of the work still lies on you, because if you listen to everyone talking, you realize that the work you are going to do on your own is the major. And of course, luck is not something that just comes. As a matter of fact, some people refer to luck as where skills meet persistence. That is the truth. It's not something that just comes like that, the way we explain luck. And of course, there are so many things which you still need to work on. So I would just advise you to choose an area. We have so many people that you can talk with on this Slack. Just choose an area. Just choose an area. If you choose an area, then you'll be able to ask questions and be able to move forward on that. As Albert Einstein will say, that any fool can know, but the point is to understand. Yes, any fool can know, but the truth or the point is to understand. So I want to believe that you've actually understood everything that has been itemized. And a lot of them, you can ask as many as possible questions. Of course, you've listened to them and you can see that they have the wealth of knowledge which they can actually give you. So, of course, in the future, we'll work on sharing some resource materials with you. And perhaps we are going to find a way of doing the one-to-one mentoring proper for those that will be interested. And as they have just talked with you, I think what is expected of you to do is to start up right now. If you have not started anything, you need to start up. As a matter of fact, I heard Yomi saying the other time that those that are in part 5 ought to have known an area of specialization. I want to tell you, when you told them to be introducing themselves in the group, in the Slack group, that they should be introducing themselves with what they are interested in doing. Some were even asking me, what are the areas? So I want to tell you that those that are in part 5 too are not, many of them don't even know area of specialization, but notwithstanding, it's not too late. They can as well start now. So I really want to thank every facilitator on this group. And so Femi Ige for helping us with the setting up the meeting, and Tayo for moderating the meeting. Adeola, Malonia, Latif, Austin, for all your contributions. Sahidat, Yomi, and Dr. Tayo. Then Odeyemi, when I saw your face, that was when I actually remember who you are. So I think I know you. Thank you very much. I really appreciate the contribution of everyone. So thank you, everyone.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah, so we round up the meeting, even though we went beyond time, but I want to appreciate everyone once again for coming. Please, if you have not joined the Slack, please join. Jola, can you send the link to the chat room before we leave so that anyone who has not joined can click on? Please.
Absolutely. I will share the link.
Okay, thank you. So please join the Slack. And if you have any question on any specific field, now you know what everyone specializes among the facilitators. You can write them a direct message. You can ask more questions with them. So we still have more programs we have for you in the future. Like today we talked about IT. So if there's somebody interested in other areas, we will get to you. So we'll also talk about other areas as time goes on. And as you make up your mind on what area you want to specialize, we'll allocate you with one of the facilitators for a one-to-one mentorship later. So thank you very much and have a great night rest for those in Nigeria. and other parts of the world. For those of us that are still early in the time, have a great day.
Yeah.
Bye.
Thank you.
Have a great night. Thank you so much. Thank you so
Thank
much.
you.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you.
Appreciate you.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank
Thank you, sir.
I'm a little.
Thank you so much, Charles. Thank you for the
Thank you so much. God bless you, sir.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. I really
Thank
appreciate
you so much.
value.
God bless you more.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Really appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you. Àwọn olùṣègùn báyìí, àwọn fásitì.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. Prom.
Thank you.
God bless everybody.
MTN user, who is he? MTN user. MTN user.
So I've shared the Slack.
You have done.
MTN user, who is he?
508 on Monday.
You can close